Obviously, our current president has had relationships with Epstein in the past, and there are those Katie Johnson and maybe other victims who have accused Trump of being involved in things like this. In my experience, Trump supporters will not listen to anything along those lines. Obviously, we're not a court of law here right now, but are those claims of though that case was dropped? It was dropped before it went to court. In your opinion, as a lawyer and your experience, is there anything you can say as to the validity of those claims, or whether or not there will be any more about that?
Nothing at all. The only thing that I can say about President Trump is that he is the only person who, in 2009, when I served a lot of subpoenas on a lot of people, or at least gave notice to some pretty connected people that I wanted to talk to them, he is the only person who picked up the phone and said, "Let's just talk. I'll give you as much time as you want. I'll tell you what you need to know," and was very helpful in the information that he gave, and gave no indication whatsoever that he was involved in anything untoward whatsoever, but had good information that checked out and that helped us, and that we didn't have to take a deposition of him.
And that was in 2009?
That was in 2009. So,
do you know if there's any truth to James Patterson's claims that Trump kicked Epstein out of Mar-a-Lago?
I've definitely heard that.
Names to you and just get a quick response. Bill Clinton.
Nice guy. Got a lot of problems coming up, in my opinion, with the famous island.
Problem. I mean,
what do you think the problem will be?
I don't know, but that island was really a cesspool. There's no question about it. Just ask Prince Andrew. He'll tell you about it. The island was an absolute cesspool. So,
the Clintons are friends
and he's
of
been
yours,
there
right?
for many times.
The Clintons are friends.
Well, I can't say friends, but I know
You're
them.
friendly. You know them.
They play at my clubs a lot. I have clubs, and everybody likes to play at my clubs.
Are you saying there's a political problem for her if she runs for president?
It could be a political problem. Look, he could be a political problem. I want to make it clear today that my administration will focus on ending the absolutely horrific practice of human trafficking, and I am prepared to bring the full force and weight of our government to the federal and at the federal level and the other highest levels, whatever we can do in order to solve this horrific problem, getting worse, and it's happening in the United States. In addition to the rest of the world, but it's happening in the United States, which is terrible. Human trafficking is a dire problem, both domestically and internationally, and is one that's made really a challenge, and it's really made possible to a large extent, more of a modern phenomenon by what's taking place on the internet, as you probably know. Solving the human trafficking epidemic, which is what it is a priority for my administration. We're going to help out a lot. Solve is a wonderful word, a beautiful word, but I can tell you we're going to help a lot. I'll direct the Department of Justice, the Department of Homeland Security, and other federal agencies that have a role in preventing human trafficking to take a hard look at the resources and personnel that they're currently devoting to this fight. Now, they are devoting a lot, but we're going to be devoting more.
Billionaire businessman Jeffrey Epstein was arrested in New York Saturday on federal charges related to sex trafficking. The 66-year-old hedge fund manager has long been accused of sexually abusing underage girls. In 2007, he pleaded guilty to 2 prostitution counts in Florida as part of a controversial deal to avoid federal charges. He was sentenced to 13 months in jail.
He's a terrific guy.
Well, I knew him like everybody in Palm Beach knew him. I mean, people in Palm Beach knew him. He was a fixture in Palm Beach. I had a falling out with him a long time ago. I don't think I've spoken to him for 15 years. I wasn't a fan. I was not, a long time ago. I'd say maybe 15 years. I was not a fan of his.
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? This is Brad Bishop. I'm reporting to you from the Lions Republic. And I wanted to say, and I wanted to correct this because I simply made a mistake. My latest video on Jeff Epstein's island burning, I was talking about the connection and unfortunately that Trump had with this unbelievable monster. And I had said that Trump actually went to Epstein's island, and I was completely wrong. I think I got caught up in the midst of the report itself, but nevertheless, the tying in. I know that Trump was on his fly log, but it had nothing to do with going to the island. Jeff had a place in New York. So, when it came to gatherings, meetings, get-togethers around celebrities and all of that goodness, which was where Jeff Epstein did a lot of his prowling. It's where he cultivated lots of relationships with many powerful men in general. And the biggest key with this as well is, Donald Trump banned Epstein from coming to Mar-a-Lago years ago. A lot of it had to do with Epstein's trying to pull one of, from what I gather, one of the waitresses from Mar-a-Lago in general, and completely Donald Trump banned Jeff Epstein from ever coming to Mar-a-Lago again. The unfortunate thing is, Trump took a picture with the Clintons. It doesn't mean that he's with the Clintons. Trump took a picture with Epstein. It doesn't matter that he's with these are criminal politician rich people that unfortunately he had the non-blessing of knowing. But I wanted to correct something very, very simply, because our president whatsoever, not at all, went to the Jeff Epstein's island, and I unfortunately made that mistake in regards to a video just previously released. So I wanted to clear that, and hey, we're human, we make mistakes. I want to thank y'all for pointing that out. Thank you very, very much for that.
I've had the story for 3 years. I've had this interview with Virginia Roberts. We would not put it on the air. First of all, I was told, who's Jeffrey Epstein? No one knows who that is. This is a stupid story. Then the palace found out that we had her whole allegations about Prince Andrew and threatened us a million different ways. We were so afraid we wouldn't be able to interview Kate and Will that also quashed the story. And then Alan Dershowitz was also implicated in it because of the planes. She told me everything. She had pictures. She had everything. She was in hiding for 12 years. We convinced her to come out. We convinced her to talk to us. It was unbelievable what we had. Clinton. We had everything. I tried for 3 years to get it on, to no avail, and now it's all coming out, and it's like these new revelations, and I freaking had all of it. I'm so pissed right now. Like, every day I get more and more pissed because I'm just like, oh my God, what we had was unreal. Other women backing it up. Hey, yep. Brad Edwards, the attorney, 3 years ago, saying there will come a day when we will realize Jeffrey Epstein was the most prolific pedophile this country has ever known.
Epstein's unit. Sources say that Epstein used a bed sheet to hang himself, and now the president is weighing in on the investigation. The Attorney General yesterday said he was appalled and angry over the suicide of Jeffrey Epstein and how the Metropolitan Correctional Center in Lower Manhattan so bungled its responsibilities. Today, the president said much the same.
No, basically what we're saying is we want an investigation. I want a full investigation. And that's what I absolutely am demanding. That's what our Attorney General, our great Attorney General, is doing. He's doing a full investigation.
Over the weekend, President Trump tweeted allegations that Bill and Hillary Clinton were somehow involved in Epstein's suicide.
I have no idea. I know he was on his plane 27 times, and he said he was on the plane 4 times. But when they checked the plane log, Bill Clinton, who is a very good friend of Epstein, he was on the plane about 27 or 28 times.
I think he was killed 100%. Yes, I do. Because he made his whole living blackmailing people. Well, Ghislaine Maxwell, who I had all sorts of stuff on her too. I love it. I'm like, it's so funny to hear everyone say her name now because I'm like, oh my God, like, I had all the, and everyone was like, who's that? Who cares? I kept getting that. Who cares?
I have a lot of enemies out there. This may be the last time you'll see me for a while. A lot of very, very rich enemies, but they are not happy with what I'm doing. But I figure we have one chance to do it, and no other president's going to do what I do.